Hey, what up, guys? We're back. Welcome to This Is My Moment podcast. I'm your host, Patrick Mitchell, and you know who I got riding shoddy.
You boy Money Mitch back with another episode. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, man. Follow, subscribe, like, comment, man. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, man. Follow us everywhere. Stay up with everything we doing here. This is my moment, man.
Let's go to work.
There ain't no stopping it, this is my moment. Join the movement, we bringing people together, bringing positivity, making changes for the better.
Today, KT, man, we got a cat. As soon as he came in, was chopping it up with us.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one.
Man,
I
can't wait.
already feel the energy from this.
Man, and it's so good that we can do things like this and have people that's approachable and living the same thing you living and thinking and
like-minded people.
Man, come
like-minded people.
On a whole different level where it's that positivity, man, and just making it. You know what I'm saying? Introduce yourself to the family.
My name is Ramone Dixon, and I am originally born in Wisconsin, living in Texas about 12 years now. So my wife and I moved to San Antonio about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And so I'm just I consider myself a entertainer that provides DJ services.
There you go.
And so I've been a very versatile person and able to move and utilize my talents, my ability, and things like that, just to live life and be the best at it.
Yeah, natural born mover and shaker.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. You know, a lot of people that follow us know that we entrepreneurs over here, man. We all about moving and shaking and making the best for us and our folks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So congratulations for you for standing on your own too, man,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
trying to do the best that you can, G. So we shout out you for doing that, man, because it ain't easy, bro.
Nah, it ain't.
We
We make it look easy, but it ain't always easy.
There's a lot of extra. Let me ask you this, man. How did you get into like the DJing from a chef and from broadcasting, man? How did you get into all of that stuff, bro?
I was working at Bush Airport in Houston,
Yeah.
and my mom, she was working in Conroe at the hospital.
Okay.
So she randomly sent me, I think it was probably like it was one of those like postings on Craigslist, like looking for a DJ, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. So I was like, I applied for it because I've always been very knowledgeable. Like, I'm a music head. I'm very knowledgeable. Like, I know how to sample mix, things like that. But like,
Did you DJ before that? Have any experience,
No,
or you
not
was
at
just
all.
like, I know music?
no,
I know what people like.
My best experience is DJing is being at the club dancing because I know how to dance and get mad at the DJ. Like, why you do that?
Why you switch it up? He killed the vibe.
That's my experience with it because DJ is judging somebody else for not DJing too well. But and so they was looking for someone who just had knowledge of different genres, different decades of music. And so it was complete music at the time. And, you know, I applied. This guy, Ron Ball, called me. He asked me questions about certain things. And, you know, it was majority in the wedding industry.
Yeah.
And so I was trained, basically, I've been in the wedding industry for the last 10 years.
Okay.
It's majority of what I've done. And which is a totally different science than somebody got a cousins who got gear who could pull up to a pool party. Doing a wedding is a totally different breed.
Facts.
And so I, just training, walking around with bulky gear. I was still to get in the industry where it was like new technology. It wasn't the old school crates, big, speakers. It was like you could use your laptop, you can plug everything in, and go from there. And since I already have the personality and able to be the MC, like with outside of sports broadcast, I also have a theater background. So I did musical
Holy
theater and so
smokes,
forth.
bro.
So me
How
being
old
in
are you?
front-
You've lived like 3 lifetimes. You've done everything.
I'm a very young 37. So
Man.
Able to utilize those type of things to galvanize, be in front of people, project, so forth, and then you add the music part. And so slowly but surely, I started. I was working 2 jobs at the time. It came down to 1. So it was to the point where I was working during the week, and I try to get off like on the weekends. If I have a wedding, try to get off at nighttime so I can be able to do weddings. So, even coworkers like, oh, Rob Ramone gets to have off on Saturday and Sunday. It's like, well, I used to have to come in early in the morning, work a shift, have my clothes and my gear in the car, leave and go drive across town from Houston because, from Houston to Houston is an hour. Wherever I'm going. And sometimes I'd be out in the middle of Yeehaw. So all the way north part of Houston and go do a wedding and get done really late, get home, probably get some sleep and go to work the next morning. So I was doing that for a long time. And so that's how I got in the industry and just learned everything about that.
Let me ask you this, G. How long you been married?
A year and a half. 2 years. To be 2 years in November.
So you was doing all that grinding before you got a spouse.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, man,
how she feel about that. Boy,
oh, it's interesting you say that because we just kind of had a very passionate discussion earlier this week.
I love the wording.
Because since I moved to San Antonio, I literally had my best year in Houston, and we moved.
Oh wow!
Oh,
and so me coming to a whole new market,
like starting from ground zero.
And I would still go to Houston and still do events because I built a lot of relationships, people rock with me, trust, and so over the last few weeks, I've been back and forth. Seriously, over the last few months, I've had something every weekend. Matter of fact, I got something tonight.
Yeah.
But it's like, I just do what I got to do so I can do what I have to do so I can eventually do what I want to do type thing, right?
Yeah.
And so it's interesting over the last few weeks, I've been back and forth between Houston and because I've had some events that I've, already booked and so forth, had some stuff here. And for me, the things that we are trying to obtain are like we're trying to buy a house. We're trying to. Unfortunately, my car's kind of paid off because I got caught in the hailstorm and put a lot of damage in the car. Yeah. Going down to 81, but we're just trying to have a child. Yeah. So because I don't have any kids. Yeah. I'm glad. Only reason because you're
moving.
You live life and things like that.
Already.
It's like we make beautiful babies. Other relationships. You're like I don't know, but because you don't know where you are, and you're prepared. And then I see some of the things my friends went through, and I was like, I don't want to go through that.
Right.
You want to kind of do things the right way, even if you didn't really grow up really understanding or seeing those different things.
Yeah.
Right? So everything's just learning on the fly. But anyway, so she was like, because she's a very quality time person.
Yeah.
Right. So me going in and out, always busy. She works weekdays. She has more of a home life.
More structure.
Now. Yeah, compared to when she was at the Houston Food Bank now.
Yeah.
But now where she is like, well, I have all this time on my hands. I want to spend time with my husband, which that's a good problem to have because some people don't want to look at the significant other.
Already.
But for me, it's like, if I know what we're trying to do, it's like, I can't afford to say no right now.
Yeah.
Like I can see if I've grown a business to a point where I have the ability to kind of like know this, know that. I don't know. But right now I'm trying to put my face out here like, yo, I'm one of the dopest DJs you will ever meet in San Antonio.
Dig it.
And I'm trying to, so I can get to the point where I have the ability to make enough and say no and spend quality time. So majority of the time, it's a good understanding, but it's like, for example, a couple weeks ago, I literally pulled up in Houston on a Thursday because one of my homeboys' son graduated high school. Yeah. I put up Thursday afternoon, 30 minutes into it because my mom still have her house in Houston, even though she's back home right now. And 30 minutes into it, that's when the storm hit. Electricity went out, phone service. So I was there in Houston for 14 hours, just no electricity, and so I literally pulled up just to come right back because I had a wedding anyway. Wow. And so then I did that. Then the next week, which was last week, had a wedding here, go to Houston, come back. Then same thing's going to happen this weekend. I have something today, and then I got to go to Houston tomorrow, got a wedding there, and then come back. So, but that's kind of like the sweet spot where I'm back and forth in Houston. Any other time, I've been trying to stay here. And so that's been tough on her. Yeah. Because there's a lot of time on her hands, and she want to hang out and spend time, which, like I said, it's a good problem to have.
You don't never invite her to come with you?
She don't really want to go. Like, she's been to a couple weddings, and actually one time she's actually done a photo booth when I was working with a company in Houston. And I think that now she's able to kind of understand what people do have to deal with. It's not as easy as people think. People just think you just pull up, you party, and the girl's like, oh my God, you're so great. Like, no, it's a science. We're thinking about every piece of a wedding. If you've been to weddings, and some DJs are different than others. Like, I literally be putting myself through, like, all I'm thinking about is just the science of make sure the couple's good from the ceremony to the reception. So, yeah.
A lot more go into it than people expect, I'm sure. Yeah. Because I just feel like just pull up, put your playlist on,
rock,
two-step, get on the mic, give you a little shout outs.
Well, and sometimes people do like I'm open minded for whatever the couple wants. Like I joke with them time. If you want the Sesame Street theme song or Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, it's your day. But what's most important is it comes down to you too. Being in that moment, you're gonna have all these guests and people like, oh my God, you look so beautiful and great. They're thinking about themselves. Some people pull up and the whole time they just like this, ready to leave after the cake cutting. Yeah, but those probably be the same people that might get mad because you didn't invite them in the first place. And so I think that the wedding industry is interesting because I've been able to do like so many different cultures. I've done a few Indian weddings. I've done some Caribbean weddings. I've done some Asian based weddings where it might be a mixture. I've done everything you can think of. I've been able to do, and I'm fortunate that people are comfortable for me. That's not even like they're going outside their own culture. They don't even know the music for me to be their DJ and MC.
Yeah, I dig.
But when you do that, let's say it's an Indian wedding, do you like go look up who's the hottest Indian like music, or do you just like play regular stuff?
It's such a process because they already have the things, with like it's a extravaganza, right? They already rent out these ballrooms, depending where they are, and it's very decorated. The families really do matter in these cases, right? Yeah. And so fortunately, the times I've been able to do it, when they have a DJ, they might have an MC, somebody that's on the middle that's kind of able to lead and guide, so forth. And so, when doing that, like even when it comes to quiet moments, they don't want quiet moments. Hey, let's have some music in the background when people are walking up for, the toast or people walking up for speeches. And then they usually might have a bride and groom performance, like the group performances. If you ever see those Bollywood videos, it's just this big performance going on. That's what happens at weddings also. And so, like you have to be very cognizant of like with their playlist of what they like, but they like every other rap or pop song like that and be able to mix. So you can go from Usher to MC Punjabi, the one the featuring Jay-Z. Yeah. And it's all in the same BPM and they be out here just dancing and jamming. It's having a good ear but also knowing what the couple wants. And even if you don't necessarily understand, you just have a good feel what works. No different than salsa, merengue, bachata, cumbia. My Spanish is trash, cheeks. But when I hear, because like I know it works. Like it's just one of those things where you're around doing it for so long, you just get kind of used to it and know what it's a trust that you build with the couple.
You know what, 2G, man? I'm sitting there and I love a good DJ because I'm telling you, man, like you go to some weddings and the DJ make the weddings like they playing the jams like and you listen, man, you like, oh, that's much, and you know what I'm saying, and now you out there, you rocking, right? And then I've been to some weddings where the DJ is playing like his car ride music, you know what I mean, like, and I always, thought, and I'm a forward thinker and I'm a research cat, you know what I'm saying, and I always thought that DJing to me in this realm, it was like a science. You know what I'm saying? Like you sit there and I research, like for you, I researched you. And I do all this and I do all this leg work to make sure that everything flows and everything looks good and everything feels good and you comfortable. Is that the same kind of way you do, man? Like before you shoot a wedding or you go to a wedding and do this event, man, or you back there like, you know what, okay, I need this transition. So they out there rocking. Or if I go into this slow sound, I ruin the mood. Like, how do you go about? What's your process of making sure that, man, that the party is going from gate to finish? What's your process?
First, it starts with preparation, depending on the playlist and what the expectations are with the couple. Because you have a do not playlist. There's some people who don't want line dances. Some people hate. I don't want Taylor Swift. There's some people who
have black people. They love line dances at the wedding, boy. If you don't sweat at the end of the wedding, boy, it ain't a wedding.
When I first came down here and I was at the club, I remember They Don't Care About Us came on the club, man. They started line dancing. I was like, they got a line dance. Wait, what? The Michael Jackson, They Don't Care About Us, they have a line dance to that song. Oh, you'd be surprised the line, it's a lot. Like, you have the biker like shuffle, Moochie, you have Tamia, Can't Get Enough. They got a line dance for that song. There's a lot of steps. So, what is this? You always, having a good, like, able to read a crowd is good. And then you also just hope that your guests are like people who want to dance.
Yeah, you don't be playing music and nobody dancing.
It's crazy because I've had weddings where people, they're not dancers, but they be at their seats jamming. Yeah. And at the night, oh my God, you as a DJ, the music you was playing. Because remember, not everybody really is comfortable going out there dancing because they think they look goofy in front of other people, right? Or, so... I mean, grandma, even with grandma, she might be doing a Tootsie Roll in her seat, but you don't know that. But she's having a good time, right? Yeah. And so it comes down just to preparation and then already being knowledgeable in the experience. And then you kind of add everything when it comes to like just knowing your music. One of the people I consider a mentor, a big brother I never had. His name is DJ AJ. Party a lot of events, but he's from the Virgin Islands, so he goes by Select a Big Beast. They're DJs, they like scratching and mixing, but they're DJ who's they call them selected because they know how to go from one song. They're good at picking songs.
Yeah.
Like there's a process to be had. Like, and I think now more than ever, everyone, because they can build their own playlist through Spotify, they think that, oh, I know what to do.
Yeah.
No, like I could be everybody out here jamming on the floor and then somebody come up and tell you a name of a song that's probably track 13 on their favorite album. It doesn't make sense to what we trying to get it in right now.
Yeah.
And so because a lot more, and so that's why DJ is more than just the music, because everybody think they can do it. It's good to show your value when it comes to the personality, the ability to know how to mix, to transition in and out of songs and not be sloppy, because people can hear that. Even the untrained ear can hear that. Yeah. And so, but also when you mentioned weddings, I remember when I first kind of started controlling my, like kind of doing my own thing, looking into the industry, on average, people probably spend maybe $30,000 on average for a wedding, depending on the wedding. And maybe 5% of that the budget goes towards DJs.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting because people don't go for inexpensive photographers.
Yeah.
People don't want to go for, and you know, they're not cheap photographers or cheap food or cheap venue. But they think that if a DJ say, "Hey, I'm looking for a DJ for 6 hours, but I'm going to pay $200," that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because even if we make a small percent of the budget, but 85 to 90% of the time, what you remember is a DJ.
Yeah. The
food can be trash.
Yeah.
The people that works for venue can be okay, but people remember, no, that DJ was fun. He's happy to be here as much as I am. So that's the value that I try to control, that narrative. Like, no, there's value to us.
Yeah.
Because you will know that when you pull up and the DJ's trash, you out here like, you mad at yourself about that.
Yeah.
No matter how much you pay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You're a young cat, relatively speaking, for us. I'm 47. He 39. And I was listening to all the things that you're doing, man, and then the wedding DJ and all this, and something caught my attention. We had talked about it a little bit off the sports broadcasting, right? To me, we sports heads. You know what I mean? We sports runs through our family, man, and we got all kind of cats that play sports and college.
All of the
and
boys
pro.
play college sports.
Yeah. Why did you get out of like the sports broadcasting and that stuff, man, to be a DJ? Because like if I can find a way to get in any kind of sports while I'm talking sports, I'm finna stay there.
Trying to get to ESPN.
I'm finna stay there. What made you like transition from all those stuff to DJing, bro?
When I was living in Milwaukee, somebody was looking for a person that was able to cover like different sports. So I was able to cover the Milwaukee Admirals, which is like the semi-pro hockey team for the Nashville Predators. Yeah. Indoor football team. Marquette basketball. Okay. Did high school. They usually have like the championship at Badger Stadium, and I go out here and do interviews and things like that. Like my knowledge is just like I'm the person. I can take any. We can be talking about relationships, and I can relate it to sports somehow. My tangents is just elite when it comes to sports. But so I was doing sports broadcasting, and I was just out of school after the accident, and then I was trying to go, like maybe if they had an internship at ESPN Radio in Milwaukee. And I was working at the Wisconsin Center District at the time, and then it didn't go the way I wanted to go. Yeah. And that's when my mom was like, well, you ever thought about coming out to Houston? Yeah. I came to visit a couple times because my mom moved here 2005. Yeah. Literally, when I graduated 2005, my mom came down here in August. Literally around the time that's when Katrina happened. Yeah. And so, and then I came down here for winter break, 2005, and then the summer of 2006. Okay. And so I didn't really care for Houston like that. So then years later, things wasn't going the way I wanted to go back home, and I really wanted to do that. But she was like, move down here. So when I moved down here, I was like, all right, I'm going to come down here and try to go at these different things. Like, I'm really good at the sports broadcast, and like my knowledge is, and I just ended up working I got hired at the airport. And then I just started working in food and then went from there. So here and there, you know, honestly, I love talking about sports. It's just difficult because the discourse it's not fun for me. It's frustrating. Like trying to have the type of discussions that I want to have instead of this narrative based about for me, I used to argue with my own dad about Kobe when I was in 1996 type stuff. Like, yo boy Kobe out here too, because people love Shaq. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And so when it comes to even like a player like Kevin Durant, I tell people all the time, like, while everyone's not appreciating Kevin Durant, like, it's nothing wrong with loving LeBron James, but the best thing about 80s and 90s basketball, yeah, Jordan was the dude, but people actually had the people they love. You couldn't be mad about that. People love Patrick Ewing no matter what.
Yeah.
Now if you say
now it's like everybody
you say I love Paul George. Oh, you love Paul George. What about LeBron? It takes away from people actually joining the crowd.
Individuals.
Yeah. And I think it's going to be interesting now because even as a WNBA, I did a whole like 8-minute video about the 5 game changers about what the WNBA what could have happened.
Yeah.
And I've seen some of the things that where it is now. But you look at the things that happened in the past, like because I think where the WNBA is now is literally where the NBA was in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Right. And so there's a process to behalf for the growth to continue to happen. But if you think about it, if the WNBA still had like Houston Comets, that was a national brand.
Yeah, it was.
Right? The same way we view the Cowboys, the Steelers,
because they are like the pioneers of the WNBA.
To me, that would have literally helped. But for them not being in the league and it's the most successful franchise, imagine the Celtics leaving in the late 70s.
Yeah. Oh no, it would have been a fight.
That's a game changer. We remember when Brittany Griner came into the league and Skylar Diggins came in the league, and then we didn't take that to
then turn them up more, like we could have.
Yeah.
And so I think now I've been saying this are people really ready for the discourse that the WNBA is going to have? Because I've been you see football, basketball all the time. It's a terrible, toxic place and not fun. You take those same people who did that in that league and put them in this league. That's why it feels the way it feels right now.
Yeah.
Like, because it takes away, like, you actually just want to enjoy the craft for what it is. Yeah. And so that's where, it's not funny. It's hard to find people to really just kind of get into these different things. And, we could talk about the stats, but let's talk about the game or.
It's a product at the end of the day.
Yeah. The question is, regardless of what is going to take, are people ready for that?
The answer is no.
Yeah.
I
don't think so, man. I'm gonna tell you why. I have a love for the WNBA. I like watching those girls play, and then I have 2 nieces, man, that's cold in the game, and they're coming up in a good time to where people are starting to watch it. And I love Dawn Staley. You know what I mean? I love Dawn Staley, man, and I think that she changed the game, and then these young girls, these women coming up, man, are putting a greater emphasis on the game, and people are watching it. And it's funny, I just seen a stat that since Clark has been in the game, like they've been selling out stadiums. Like, and Reese came in, they had to move the venue because it wasn't big enough.
Yeah, they're actually playing right now.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It was the place that they were supposed to play wasn't big enough because these people are starting to fall in love with these lady hoopers. And I used to always like, oh man, it was so slow. But the fundamentals that these young women had,
this is
now they dunking though, KT.
I hear you.
Okay.
But I'm gonna say this, and this is a conversation I had the other day with my brother. Do you think it has anything to do with these younger women, or bro, I'm just gonna say it like there's no other way to say it, bro? They are more attractive.
You think people watching because
bro, none of these new girls look like Cheryl Swoops.
You know what? That's plausible.
They're more marketable.
So it's plausible because remember when I'll give you a good parallel. Remember the NBA, and so not sound a certain way. Remember the NBA in the 80s, people was considered like, because everybody was on heavy drugs, right? And remember when Jordan came in, he was like, yo, my team, they used to call them the Carnival because they was on that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so that was hard for the league. And so the WNBA,
they
had to fight for so long.
They had to overcome.
Yeah, the W had this, and ignorance as it is, it was the perception of, it's a league full of players that we can, that might be lesbian or gay or they studs and things like that. And so for the masses, they don't, there are people who care about that type of stuff compared to just the idea of like, yo, I really appreciate the craft of what it is.
Yeah,
these teams are not trying to shoot threes all the time. It's still post players that still exist.
Yeah.
People that still go to the mid range. People that know their post moves.
Still actual fundamental.
Yeah, there's a lot of because think about it. there are people who are more athletic than others, but they're not depending on the athleticism the same way the NBA did.
Yeah.
Because remember in the early 2000s, if you look like you can jump high like Jordan, you was getting drafted, even if your handles and your jump shot was ugly.
Yeah.
Right? We was out here putting Isaiah Ryder and the rest of these dudes like as, this the next Jordan.
Like Baby
just
Jordan,
based off
man.
because he just looked like a 6'6" dude who can jump.
Yeah.
And maybe had a bald head when you was able to shave your head bald because you wanted to back then.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think that, there will be a process, but there takes very smart and patient people to see that. Yeah. Even now, I think that people who, even if you are whoever you support in the W, I try not to revert everything to my days of like when I was organizing, but sometimes when I see people do certain things, is this conducive to the growth that you want to see, and then actual to the players and in themselves? Yeah. Because regardless of what we want as an entertainment and as a product, it's the same thing that we just want those people to be well and able to kind of just go through the process. Because even at that, a lot of these women that we see, they literally had the NCAA tournament in March.
Yeah. And now they
2 weeks later, and then had to go through the draft, and then have less than a month of training camp. It's like, yep, we'll
roll the ball out.
And so I think that there's going to be patience because right now, like today, Indiana, Chicago playing. So you have Caitlin Clark, who her team, like people have to remember the Indiana won 17 games total. Yeah. No, maybe 17, maybe 18. The last 2 years. They won 5 games the year before and 13. That's why they got number 1 pick 2 years in a row. Yeah. Chicago was actually a playoff team last year. Mm-hmm. So they was able to get 2 top 5 type talents. And one is more like both post players that no team made a rebound. So it's going to be tough that people might see Angel Reese as a post player and shooting 30% from the floor. Yeah. And Caitlin Clark is only shooting 40% from the floor, even though she shoots a lot of threes. Yeah. But her teammates don't know, how to play with her yet, even when it comes to her passing. Yeah. She'll throw the ball and the team's like, oh my God, I'm actually getting a pass like a certain way. Yeah. And so there's a nuance to all this that people don't want to have. Yeah. And I think that's why people don't know how to appreciate anything. And that's why you see people in there all the time. Man, I don't know why we not talk about this. Because you had the opportunity to, but you wanted to get caught up in the nonsense. Yeah. But we do the same thing with music. Yeah. We do the same thing with movies. We do that for everything.
All forms of entertainment.
It just sounds good. Like, yeah, we on the podcast, but a lot of people just do it for the sake of content because why not? Yeah. And so because of that, whatever people are hoping for, and especially for someone like me who have these expectations, things I like, it's not going to happen. So either I just have to find my own spaces to kind of feel comfortable about it. But I love sports. I can talk about it all the time. Yeah. I see stuff in the NBA to this day. Like it's always like, it's just like it's crazy. And so now we can blame it on what Stephen A. or what Skip might say or what Shannon might say. But it's like when you get worried about that, it goes back to the entertainment part. Yeah. You worried about that where you can actually have the ability to change all that. You don't have to depend on these people.
Yeah, right. That's solid, man. Bro, we literally can sit here and talk sports because it's a ton of stuff that we talked about off camera. We talked about actually on some of the moments with Mitch about the sports, man. But we ain't gonna hold the people hostage listening to us talk about sports. But what I am gonna do, man, is get into a little fun. Yes, sir. We're gonna get into a little fun. At the end of every show, we play this game. It's called Pick One. I'm going to give you 2 options, give you a phrase or so. You only got 1 choice, though.
All right.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Wisconsin or Texas? Deep breaths are not allowed, G.
Because
my wife thinks, come on now. Wisconsin, Texas.
I say neither. Like
no, sir.
Like neither one.
I would say Wisconsin. So I got to continue I'm a Texas hater.
Well, hate on then, G. We ride over here. You got 1 song that you get to keep. Everything else goes in the trash. What's the 1 song you keeping?
It's okay.
You gonna try to explain it the way I know, sir?
Nah.
Give me 1.
Kanye West, Get My Money Right. You can't tell me nothing.
Yeah.
I got that on the playlist.
Can't tell me nothing. Diamonds Are Forever. I remember when I first heard that. I was just like, but Can't Tell Me Nothing. Especially because that beat is a feed off from Jeezy's C sample. I got money. I get money. This is one of my favorite Jeezy songs.
Yeah.
And then you flip that, it's like, oh my God.
And then he left the Jeezy ad-libs on.
And then put Jeezy on the remix.
It's crazy. Yeah. I give you the phrase, this is my moment. This is my moment. First thing comes to mind.
I don't know. Peace. Like, peace is a moment. I spend my whole life just kind of trying to chase peace.
Yeah.
Depending on your upbringing and things, you try to maneuver. Like I said, I've always been on the move. Now my life is a little different. Yeah. Learning things about, being married, relationships, all these different things where having a business, these are things you're learning on the fly because you might have a point of reference, but you're going to be imperfect in it. But, and you might feel like you're judged on what you're doing wrong, but it's like if you believe in yourself enough to just try to attempt it or go through it, hopefully you have enough support. So my moment, just peace. And I know that I'm happy and love myself enough that whatever I do and I'm a confident decision I make, I'm fine with that. Just peace is just, and I think it kind of required me to kind of stop doing things to go cold turkey like I used to organize. But peace is always my moment. That's it. If I have that, I think everything else will go well because I've seen people who have it all who don't have peace and they're miserable, and I don't want that. So let me get the peace first. That's the base of the tree, and then we'll figure out the branches later.
Oh, really?
Facts. Man, we really appreciate you stopping by, man. This has been super easy, super free-flowing, man. Yeah. And you got anything coming up? Let the people know where they can reach out to you and connect with you if they need bookings or anything like that.
My mixtape, no, I was playing. So between social media, I tend to post things. I'm part of Texas Weddings. Now, things with Wedding Wire and not, but for sure, there's a market in Helotes at called Josabi Acres. I built a good relationship with them, and they tend to have a market with all these vendors, like 40 vendors of all different type of businesses within the community, and I'm able to just pull up DJ, create the sound and vibes, and people have a good time because I just play a little bit of everything. If you want to hear like 70s rock or, you want to get your salsa, merengue, bachata on, or if you want to get your hip hop, like all these different things. So that's the major thing I want people to pull up to because that's kind of helping people in the community who has a business, build relationships, meet people, and be able to come through and hang out. So that's the only thing I have as of now outside of doing a bunch of weddings. So if you need a DJ, if that's the camera right there.
That's it.
Yeah, that's you.
If you need a DJ, if it could be a quinceañera, it could be a wedding, it could be a pool party. If you're just hanging out at your house and you need somebody to play music and talking to Mike, like if you need anything that requires music, I'm the most entertaining DJ in San Antonio. I'm just gonna say it now because why not just say it? But honestly, like if you need somebody for music, I would love to be a part of that. And whatever vendors or companies that's looking for a DJ to help grow, I would love to be a part of that and kind of help through the process.
Perfect.
Appreciate it. Hang on, I'm gonna close out the show. Then we'll be ready to rock.
Yeah.
In 1 second. Hey guys, here's the deal, man. Ramone said, don't get caught up in all the nonsense, man. Find you what you consider peace, and then make that your base, and everything else can grow from now, man. That's solid, KT.
Facts.
Right, and then at the end of the day, what we gonna do?
Go get it!
Join the movement, we bringing people together, bringing positivity, making changes for the better. Cause it's all about growth, all about success. We wanna see you rise, wanna see you